Hello everyone and welcome to another Overwatch hero guide video. Today we're doing Zarya, and this hero is probably the biggest example of a hero that I had no idea how to play her. I thought she was horrible, I thought she was the worst hero in the game, and then all of a sudden I watched a few videos and read up on her a little bit and figured out how to play her, and then boom, she became one of my top heroes ever. I'm super confident with Zarya now. I love her and all her abilities. She's just a really good team oriented hero. So yeah, let's jump right into her, and hopefully I can give you guys some tips on how to play her. Maybe you weren't that big of a fan of her in the past, you don't know how to play her very well. Maybe this will help you out a little bit. So her main weapon is her particle cannon, and it can either pretty much shoot just a consistent laser beam, it's literally just like a constant particle laser beam, or it can do a splash shot, which is essentially like a grenade launcher, and that takes 25 ammunition each. The particle cannon has 100 ammo total. The beam itself will just kind of drain the energy steadily, but the splash damage, arc, like those projectiles that you can arc, they're like grenades essentially. Those will take 25 ammunition per shot, so you can fire 4 of those splash projectiles, or you can just keep shooting your laser, and you can do either or at any given time, and it will just drain your ammo accordingly. It's a pretty interesting weapon. Doesn't do that much damage. It definitely requires a high degree of accuracy, especially with the beam weapon. You have to keep the beam on them exactly at all times. The beam doesn't have that much range, but it does have a decent amount of range. I believe the range got buffed fairly recently, although Zarya's actual other abilities got nerfed a little bit recently, which I will go into right now. Her 2 abilities are Particle Barrier and Projected Barrier. The Particle Barrier is your left bumper on consoles, I believe, and it will put a shield around you, and all of the damage that the shield takes is then transferred into your particle weapon. Alright? So your particle cannon charges up from 1 to 100 based on how much damage your shields take. And so the particle barrier is, like the left bumper, like I said, that projects a shield around you. So when you're taking damage, you can pop that shield, take a bunch of damage, and it'll charge up your particle cannon so it does more damage. And then the projected barrier is a barrier that you can project, a shield, the same shield you can project on your teammates. And whenever they're taking damage and you project that shield on them, and the damage that shield takes also transfers into your particle weapon. So the more damage these shields take at a time, the more damage your weapon does. Now, I believe the duration of the shields did actually get nerfed fairly recently, or not the shield, not the duration, but the actual health of the shields. I'm looking at the wiki right now, and it says each barrier has 200 total health, so it can take 200 damage before depleting, or it lasts 2 seconds. Now, your particle barrier has a cooldown of 10 seconds, the one that you can put on yourself, and the one that you can put on your teammates has a cooldown of 8 seconds. And the maximum range of that one that you can put on your teammates is actually 30 meters, which isn't too much of a big deal. You're not going to be really noticing your allies being out of range where you can't shield them that often. But regardless, I mean, it's pretty difficult to get the hang of, but once you do, and you start, recognizing who's taking damage, who's pushing in, who to put shields on at what time, when to pop your shield so you take the most damage, so your particle weapon charges the most, and who can be countered by Zarya. She is just such a solid tank, probably one of the best tanks in the game besides Reinhardt at the moment. And honestly, Reinhardt is not that great anymore because of the soldier buff that recently occurred. Soldier just does so much damage now that you can just take down a shield in 2 to 3 magazines of your pulse rifle with Soldier. So Zarya is definitely one of the top tanks in the game right now. She's definitely up there. A lot of people run her. She's magical when paired with other heroes. For example, Mercy. If you have a Mercy constantly healing Zarya, it is practically unstoppable. And I'll tell you why. Because half of Zarya's health, Zarya has 400 total health, half of it is actual health, half of it is shields that regenerate on its own. So if you back off and wait, your shields will regenerate to 200 health every single time. So you will always have at least 201 health as long as you stay alive and just chill for you know, like 10-20 seconds. Your shields will recharge and you'll get that health back. That is one of the best parts about Zarya, is because she's so survivable with both that shielding on her health bar as well as the shields that she can project on herself and on other allies. Pairing her with a Mercy means that if the enemy team comes after the Mercy, you can shield the Mercy. If the enemy team comes after you because they realize the Mercy is shielded, you can shield yourself and do a ton of damage, and before they realize what's happening, you've done so much damage that you've killed everyone that's coming at you. So it's just she's such a fun character to play once you really know how to recognize situations and project barriers when they need to be projected. Her ultimate also is amazing when combined with other ultimates. Her ultimate, let me actually scroll down here, see what it's called. Graviton Surge. Basically, it's a black hole that sucks enemies in at a radius of 9 meters. Not a very huge radius, but it's enough. It's pretty much akin to May's ultimate, where it just pretty much just sticks them in place. A few heroes can get out of it if they use the correct abilities. I believe actually Zarya herself can get out of it if she uses her shield. Genji can get out of it, I believe, if he uses his dash. And I'm not sure who else can actually get out of it. Reaper might be able to get out of it if he uses his Wraith form. Just a few characters like that can actually get out of the Graviton Surge. You know, obviously Sombra can get out of it with her teleport ability if she already has it set up. But it's still a really solid ultimate. It keeps them in place for about 4 seconds, which is just enough for usually you to be able to shield an ally and yourself, because usually when people get sucked into the Graviton Surge, they panic and they just start shooting at everything they see. So you can shield yourself and your allies, take a punch of damage, and that in turn charges your particle cannon, which you can just do that splash attack over and over again and kill a ton of enemies in that in your ultimate. The one thing that is important is that you should never do this ultimate when there is a Reinhardt up with his shield, because he can just shield and your ultimate is then worthless. So any of those tanks that can like just pop their shields for more than 4 seconds, do not pop your ultimate when they're around. Make sure their shields are down first if you're gonna pop it on them, and that is your biggest tip for that ultimate. This ultimate is best paired with ultimates like Pharah's ultimate, which is a rocket barrage. You can literally stick them in place. Pharah can pop her rocket barrage and literally just kill everyone in that small area. Same with Hanzo. If he fires his dragons into the Graviton Surge, it will pretty much kill everyone there. Although you shouldn't really be picking Hanzo, but regardless, it's a pretty solid ultimate to pair with. And Tracer's Sticky Bomb is probably the best pairing ultimate, because you can just stick them with the Graviton Surge. All the enemies are in one clump instead of, like, say, May's ultimate. They can be spread out, frozen. They're on one clump, so Tracer can just go in, stick one person, and it does a ton of damage to everyone in that clump of enemies. So yeah, Zarya's just a really solid tank as a whole, and I highly encourage you to try her out. I don't have any gameplay testing her abilities. I just have the regular gameplay this time, because honestly, her abilities can't really be tested in the firing range, because you don't take that much damage in the firing range, and basically her main shtick, I guess you could say, is that she takes damage with her shields, and that charges her particle cannon. So you can't really demonstrate that in the shooting range, but I felt that the gameplay that you're seeing right now demonstrated it pretty well. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something about Zarya, and we'll maybe try her out as a tank. Maybe you're a Reinhardt guy, or a Roadhog guy, or a Diva guy, since Diva got those buffs. Try out Zarya, because she's super solid once you learn to play her. She is difficult to play, for sure. She's one of the more difficult heroes to play, but if you learn how to use her, she is probably one of the most powerful heroes in the game, even with her recent nerf to the health of her shields. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.